welcome back to the channel, everyone. A little bit of a late start to this video, but we're doing a little bit of some hard pulls. It is kind of cool outside. Well, relative to what it was this week, so we'll do a couple hits, let the car cool down. A couple hits, let the car cool down, and overall just cruise and enjoy the weather. Love downshifting around like all these like walls and stuff. Ooh, this guy is booking it. Where do you think you're going, brother? I just love listening to like the blow-off valve like bouncing off the walls of these houses and stuff like that. Like if you guys are just on the fence if you should boost your tube valve, just do it for the sound. It's kind of like how some people just put cams into their car for sound. I mean, you can essentially do the same thing with the Supercharger too. So we got the radar on today just because it is the end of the month, and yeah. Because it is like, it's not warm, but it's like nice outside and it's not cold, we should 100% hook. We should not spin at all. The only time that we should spin is if we were doing like a second gear, or maybe a second gear before I would do it first. We should not spin. Like this car he goes, hey bro. The reactions this car gets too, man. But we should not be spinning though at all. I might lay some rubber down over here, even though it might be kind of sketch. We should definitely be hooking up. listening to all this bouncing off the wall. That's why I kind of like driving around in like this area, because it's like all gated. So you kind of get like the amplified version of like the downshifts, the exhausts, everything. You guys like live in an area like this where there's just like homes, trees, and then like a bunch of stuff just to the sound can echo off of. Oh man, it's great. You don't have to even really drive fast. You just can just cruise and have a good time. Wasn't a school up here, I would have just laid it right there, but we gonna take it smooth right here. And then when we kind of get back like on like a back main road, we'll let her rip. IATs are pretty good right now, is because we're keeping it moving. That's the thing about these boosted new edges. You don't want to be sitting in traffic. You want to just keep the car moving. If you have a good intercooler like I do, it's gonna keep those IATs down. Also, I kind of want to like bring this up since we're just doing kind of like a cruise right now. What are your guys' opinions on neutral riding? Now, I don't neutral ride often, but like if I'm going like 20 miles an hour, 25, you know, if I'm in second or third gear, you know, if I'm just, you know, just driving around town regularly, what are you guys' opinions on just putting it into neutral and like cruising it to a stop? If you know there's going to be 100% like a stop sign or a stop light, what are your guys' opinions on that? Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you know you're going to stop, like 100%, there's no way around it, you're going to stop. Especially from that speed. A lot of people like to say that you're wearing out the brakes and you're doing damage to your drivetrain, but I really can't see it, because like from my, you know, perspective and from my kind of past experience, like downshifting like constantly at like low speeds when you're not really in a high gear, I think that can do more damage, like realistically. Like say for example, like you're trying to slow down all the way, like would that make sense just to downshift to first gear then stop? No, that doesn't make sense. You don't do that. I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section what y'all think, man. I know that type of stuff is kind of a touchy topic. A lot of people like to say you can never neutral ride, but I mean, everybody that I know that drives manual, people that can drive manual way better than me, I mean, they throw that shit in neutral. Alright, so I have no idea where my GoPro just kind of failed on me again. I think it like overheated. It always does that. Alright, so I'm not too sure where my GoPro kind of failed me at. It's been messing up like the past 2 days, which is really, really annoying. Like if it gets too hot, it'll just completely stop recording, so. I mean, yeah, we're hooking up, but it is kind of getting really, really hot. I wanted to come out and do this a little bit earlier before it got too hot. Now that it is kind of like too hot and we're probably gonna hit a bunch of traffic, it's probably chalk. So Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now, I originally was going to do a hard pulls video, but my GoPro just wasn't working with me. It just kept cutting out. I recorded like 20 minutes of just straight pulls when I got to my spot, and then when I went to go check the recordings, it only recorded like half of it. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and upgrade my GoPro, because this has been happening like repeatedly. I've changed the batteries, changed the SD cards, everything, and it just keeps happening. So I think just mine is just like defective, or is just not really efficient when it gets warm. And obviously, you know, I live in Texas, it's hot. I need something that works when it gets warm outside. And also, I'm obviously not just gonna go ahead and beat on the car in the same area for like 30 minutes plus. That's just a recipe for disaster. Federales are gonna be hot, and I want to come out and kind of get these pulls in before it got super hot outside. And by the time I noticed that everything just wasn't working out, wasn't recording, it's already like 90 degrees outside. Even though I do have an upgraded intercooler and the car doesn't run nearly as hot as it used to, I still don't really feel comfortable just yet going ahead and just beating on this car repeatedly for like literally over an hour in like 90-degree weather. So, oh well. You guys can see this car is absolutely filthy. Absolutely filthy. These tires be kicking up a bunch of dirt. The back is built. They gotta wash this car. I washed this car like a couple days ago, and it's already dirty just from doing pulls. But overall, the setup is stout. I mean, it pulls pretty damn hard. Only I kind of need to do now with this car is just go ahead and fix my AFR gauge and go ahead and just get the kind of tune to dial everything in with this new intercooler, because with all this air coming in, I don't think it's running as efficient as it should. It still runs pretty damn good, but obviously when you kind of mess with airflow, you're going to need a tune so it can be running, you know, where it actually should be. So the gears, I mean, 355 gears, even 355s as opposed to 410s, I mean, it still blows the tires off. Like, you don't need 410 gears if you are under boost with these cars. 100% you don't. Now you guys have actually probably seen this. This is actually not from rubbing. I believe my tire, it cracked because of the heat. Now when I actually got this tire, I didn't notice that it was kind of like, it had like that kind of like distortion, at least on this side. I didn't really think too much of it until I like actually drove the car, and then it started to kind of crack here. But it doesn't you know, hurt the performance, so it doesn't really matter. But overall, I'm really happy with this setup. Just waiting on the motor and everything for it to be finished, and then we're going to be throwing that in and turning the boost up like times 10. I keep saying that every single video. I know some people think that this car is a built motor or this and that. The car this is a stock motor 2 valve. There will be a built motor in this car. It's being assembled right now as we speak, and once that is ready, it's going in, and we're probably going to turn the car up to about like 650 at first, just so I can get used to it, because it's going to feel a lot different than what the car does right now, obviously. And with the older cars, I'm a firm believer that you need to kind of get used to your car and get as much seat time as possible before you just go, you know, buck wild ham and just beating on it. Because I mean, just the way these cars are, how they handle the torque delivery, like everything, you kind of need to be smart with it. And I think going from, you know, 400s to 650, getting some seat time, taking the car to the track, kind of getting an understand and feel for it, and then going ahead and turning it up to like 8, 9, and then to 1,000, because that's like what this motor is built for, and kind of how I'm kind of gearing this whole setup for it. I think that's going to be like the best way to go ahead and do things, just so I don't get in over my head. Because if it was another car like an S550, you know, going from 400 wheel to like, you know, 800, 900, you know, it's not that big of a deal, just because those cars are newer. You know, there's a lot more safety features built in, and just they're overall easier to drive, in my opinion. But something like a newedge Mustang, where this car doesn't even have traction control, I mean, this car, the rear end could get sideways quick, and just the way the torque is, I think it's very smart just to go ahead and take it slow and just get used to the car, so I can actually drive it and understand it and handle it at the power level that, you know, we're going to be turning this up to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully get this tune within the next couple of weeks. Kind of dial in the car in this setup and then we're just gonna move forward. Now, I do have some other news coming to the channel, some very good news coming to the channel, but I'm not gonna go ahead and reveal any of that yet. I'm gonna wait like a couple weeks, maybe like 2 weeks before I reveal that. But it is very good news, very, very good news. So yeah. I think I'm done with the exterior mods though. I think I'm done. The only thing I might do, now I said I wouldn't do this, but I said I would keep the GT front bumper on here. Maybe down the line, I'm not doing this anytime soon, but maybe down the line at 99 to 01 Cobra. I don't know. I know those are kind of like overdone now, but it kind of would technically help this car out because it would be functional. But we'll see. I also need to upgrade my brakes too. That's for damn sure. After doing those pulls today, yeah, my brakes 100% need to be upgraded. When I hit 650, I need to upgrade these brakes. Just put a big brake kit. Because this car does get sketchy. But if you guys did enjoy, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Peace.